All right, folks, this is a short one. Well, short for me. But I wanted to explain a couple of things, and then there's a couple of topics that I wanted to cover. First of all, as I had posted in the social discussion on the channel, due to my internet service provider being unable to provide the service I pay for, I am going to now, and I already am, have to work at my office, which is interesting as I'm alone all day. And granted, I was here too. Now, here though, I could step outside on my front porch very easily. I could still hear everything going on. So if I got a chime that I need to do something, I could get right back. I could go over next door to my parents' house for lunch, things like that. But I do need to be available for clients for my job. So I am back at the office. Now, what that means, though, is less time for me during the day to be able to go through my history books and go through my other source material and so on. So I have put the history series on hold for at least a couple of weeks. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be posting, because the history series, that takes me quite a bit of time to research one episode. I know the information. I could easily start discussing the American Revolution, the lead up to it, the causes for it, how it was waged, why it was waged, the execution of different things, and the outcome. But I want to have my timeline and my exact facts straight before I do the video, because I want to be able to discuss the different battles that were deciding points, the different stratagems employed, and so on. So I'm going to be putting that on hold probably this week and next, possibly one more. I can't say for certain. It is coming back. I've never really made any attempt to hide my faith. I don't hide my politics. You folks who have been here since the beginning, you guys who follow me on social media know I do not hide any of that. But part of that is I get things sent to me, videos. I have people I follow, Jen Markell, Pastor Billy Crone, Dr. Chuck Missler, those people who I greatly respect, because they're able to find information and to unravel things and then communicate them to people who don't have the background that they do. So I've been watching a lot of that, and there's been a lot of things that have jumped out at me, and I may be adding a video here and there on Revelation prophecy, end times, something of that nature. I'm not going to plan anything. I'm not going to start a new series, but you may see that come to pass, where those are things that I decide I want to cover or want to discuss. Now, those are going to be fewer and further between than the history series, because the history series is my passion. That's what I went to college for. It's what I hold a degree in. So the history series will definitely be my baby. The other videos like this, where I'm extemporaneous. This is not scripted, planned, anything. So videos like this will still continue. Videos that I want to do some research and dig in, where I have been pointed to certain things by someone I respect, those may come along. But I did want to explain more in detail why the history series is on hiatus for a couple, 3 weeks. Moving on to what I really wanted to talk about, kind of why I launched all the software to do this. The Great Mask Project, the Great Quarantine Project, flattening the curve. This was supposed to be 2 weeks. Back in March, we're 5 months into this. The economy is in the dumps. And we're still hearing, nope, it's going to go on. Nope, it's going to go on. I can all but guarantee you, if the Democrats manage to cheat their way to victory, one, Joe Biden will serve exactly 24 hours as president. The very next day, it will be tearfully and sadly announced that that Joe Biden's health has taken a turn for the worse, and for the peace of mind of his family, he has decided to step down, and Kamala Harris will reluctantly take on the burden of power. And as soon as she is done with that lie, you will be ordered. You will return to work. Your taxes are needed in this time. Coronavirus has been found to be not the threat we thought it was. Trump was hiding information. He was ignoring doctors that the DNC was silencing. You will be ordered back to work. The pandemic will be over as soon as Kamala Harris manages to cheat the DNC into office and then push Joe Biden out of the way. I joke that Joe Biden was very happy to hear who he's chosen as VP, but we all know it was the DNC who chose for him. The DNC did all but refused to even allow voting. They used the pandemic to get just enough votes to get Joe Biden's name in the lead, then all voting stopped. And magically, he became the nominee. But my main question on this is why the mainstream media, 99.9% of them, why the experts all throughout Congress and DC are spreading lies and expecting them to work. You see, I've said this before. I've asked doctors, I've asked nurses, I've asked EMTs, I've asked people who know this stuff. All of them say masks do not block virus particulate. Masks are there to prevent expectorant. You know, I'm a smoker. I am trying to quit. You're going to start seeing, as I get better and better on it, the breaks in these videos where I stop because I have to cough because I'm a smoker. I have been for 25 years. I should have been a non-smoker now for 43, but I'm not. But those are going to lessen as I smoke less and less, and then as I become a non-smoker, which I hope to be soon. But I physically find it horribly hard to breathe when wearing any type of facial covering, other than perhaps one of the plastic face shields. I have one somewhere, but I can't find it. But basically, imagine what people wear in auto shops when they're grinding. It is a curved face shield, clear plastic. Generally, if you're grinding or, medical examiners and people like that, it actually attaches here and maintains skin contact and comes up so that it blocks physical items, like sparks or blood or anything like that. Sparks being little bits of metal that have been heated up. So those are blocked. Hits the face shield, bounces off. You'll notice welders, they have that full mask, just a little slit of the material you can't see through unless light is extremely bright. But they're also wearing very heavy leather clothing and all the way down with gloves over there that come up over it. That's to protect against physical particulate. In that case, it is hot slag. In the case of medical examiners or doctors, it is body fluids or other things that are large enough to see. Virus particulate is less than 3 microns in size. I'm not a scientist. I don't even know how to explain how small that is. I'm sure there are a lot of people smarter than me in that area of study who can explain it. And no mask out there blocks that unless it is a full closed system. Okay? Think about the movie The Stand or Outbreak. The real reason, though, that I am making this video, and I know I've bounced around and I just made a big transition here, is the idea of masks. Okay? We're seeing people absolutely lose their mind over a novel coronavirus with a 99.7% survivability. I, for one, do not believe that Alyssa Milano is a long-haul sufferer and back in the hospital, having been symptomatic this whole time. I do not believe the death toll. I have seen so many stories about hospitals forcing their doctors to list COVID-19, even if they list it as pneumonia brought on by COVID-19, heart attack brought on by COVID-19. They are being paid for COVID-19 deaths and COVID-19 cases. Every single test is a case. There are people in certain positions that are tested daily. If they test positive 7 days in a row, that is 7 days. But we're still told to just obey. People are literally wearing t-shirt cloth over their face as a mask and pretending it works. I've said to several people on social media, my body, my choice. Now, some of them have gotten very mad. Don't you dare take that away from the women's movement. That is theirs. But I said, no, it's true. If a woman can choose to kill a human baby because it's residing in her body, I can choose not to wear a mask because it's my body. I've had a couple, though, that were so incensed, they actually tried to convince me that their mask only blocks outgoing viruses. Their t-shirt cloth only protected other people. That I'm required to wear a mask to protect them, not myself. I flat out said, you believe a piece of t-shirt cloth or a handkerchief or one of these neck gaiters that people wear when mowing truly blocks viruses? Of course it does. I've seen doctors that say it. No, you haven't. You've seen Dr. Anthony Fauci, who back in February and March said there is no reason for people to be walking around wearing a mask. But as soon as Trump says anything, the swamp, the far left, immediately takes the opposite tack. President Trump spoke about how doctors had told him hydroxychloroquine was providing positive results. Within hours, hydroxychloroquine was the most toxic substance known to man. You were safer walking into Chernobyl naked than taking hydroxychloroquine. Donald Trump said he does not agree with wearing a mask. Suddenly, mask mandates come out. Doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor on social media until they're banned repeats that masks do not work for two main reasons. One, they don't block viruses. They block large physical objects, not virus particulate. And two, this is a virus, this is a novel coronavirus like the common cold. It's that simple. I had a post on my website, sheepdogsmoky.com, talking about how I have seen a tweet from Nola Nurse on Twitter, where she pointed out a story where a woman had gone to the hospital, was diagnosed with COVID-19, told she had a matter of days to live. Luckily for this woman, someone else brought up another possibility. They tested her for Legionnaire's disease, which I believe is a form of pneumonia. She was positive, and it was determined that wearing her mask had caused it. You see, your mask has you inhaling everything you've just exhaled, as long as you wear it. I will wear a mask while I am mowing. I generally will wear a mask, my gun range earmuffs, and eye protection, because one, I do have allergies, and two, I don't like grass in my mouth, nose, eyes, and ears. My area has a lot of what we call stickers. They're thorny little burrs. I don't want those things flying up and getting in my nose, mouth, ears, or near my eyes, so I wear PPE. It stinks. I hate doing it. I have to throw the mask away when I'm done if it's not one of those you can wash. It's covered in sweat. I'm breathing heavy within probably 10 minutes of just starting because I am breathing in more CO2 than oxygen. I've seen report after report after report that the oxygen saturation when wearing a mask is under 20%, generally 18 or lower. The minimum safe oxygen saturation for a human being is 20%. So a mask is dangerous in that it denies you oxygen. But we're just supposed to wear it. But then there are the other questions. If they work, why are the cases not going down? If masks work in the glorious utopia under Jay Inslee known as Washington State, why are they reporting several hundred new cases regularly? One would think that the deep blue upper west, northwest, Washington, where Democrats reign supreme, so mask mandates are everywhere, one would think they would have almost no cases anymore because masks work. And I can guarantee if any of them would actually answer me, they're going to say, well, you have these idiots who run around without them and they're infecting everyone. Then masks don't work. Period. It's that simple. The other question is, why are we allowed at any point to remove them if they work? Where I live, North Texas, in order to enter the premises of a business, and that is a very important distinction I'll explain in a moment, I must have a facial covering that covers the nose and mouth. Now, I'm going to take Sam's Club as an example, mostly because I have to go there in a day or two to get more Dr. Peppers. But, not a sponsored segment, I've just grown up on Dr. Pepper. I can walk around their parking lot, from my car to their door, no mask. Better than half of the people are doing that. You see them get out of the car, they take their mask out of their pocket or their purse, and they walk to the door, and as soon as they're walking through the door, they're putting on the mask. I wear a handkerchief for two reasons. One, I can wear it around my neck and just pull it up. Two, as a statement. If masks don't work, handkerchief cloth dang sure doesn't work. But nobody says a word to me because I have a facial covering. I have a cough. I generally carry napkins or something with me, or I will cough into my elbow, or I just cover my face with my hands, then I go wash my hands. That's just common courtesy. I've done that for years. The only time I really don't is when I'm here by myself, in my car, by myself. Get the picture? But now I'm required to, so I wear it for those two reasons. But why am I allowed to remove it anywhere? If you go to a restaurant, I actually stopped on the way home tonight, got dinner for the first time in 2 weeks. First time in a week that I've actually done that. Everyone going through the line to order wearing a mask. Everyone waiting up at the counter to get their food wearing a mask. Everyone at the tables, no masks. 2 or 3 people that I saw get up from the table and walk out didn't put the mask on. At my office, the second I step outside the office, don't have to have it. The second I sit down for lunch, don't have to have it. The second I sit down at my desk, don't have to have it. There's no magic of me wearing a mask when I'm not at my desk, eating at a table or outside. That ensures the air around me when I'm eating outside or at my desk does not expand into the general atmosphere. If you are allowed at any point to take your mask off, it does not work. It is a ball and chain around your neck. But you see, companies know that if they said you cannot eat lunch on site, they would have to give people longer lunches. My company generally gives an hour. Now, I bring my lunch to work, so I don't need as long. 3 minutes, 4 minutes in the microwave, 10 to 12 to eat, I'm done. But if they said you can't eat on premises, people would be gone the entire lunch break so that they could actually physically remove their mask and eat. If you were forced for 8 to 8.5 to 9 hours a day to wear a mask, save the few times you can get away from your building, people would be dropping like flies. I was a firefighter. I had to wear an SCBA. Now, an SCBA is a self-contained breathing apparatus. The difference between my SCBA and the scuba tank my father and brother used when they were certified is theirs is a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Differences in the regulators and such. That is providing me canned breathing air. I still ended up short of breath. Now, granted, I was also wearing 70 pounds of clothing and exerting myself. But that's the only way you could have people wearing a mask all day long, is if they were hooked up to canned air. You can't do that. There's already been a situation where a woman passed out in her car, crashed. I don't remember if anyone died or not, but it was an auto accident because she passed out because she was wearing a mask. I've already had someone say, correlation is not causality. Well, I called BS on them because the report said she was short of breathing and passed out due to the mask. They actually said that was the cause. So causality is causality. But, in my home, I guarantee the day some jackbooted thug comes to my door and says, you will wear a mask 24/7, you will retreat into airtight rooms 3 times a day to eat. You will never remove your mask when not in a sealed room. That's the day I get shot by those thugs because I will not comply with that. But the very fact that I'm allowed to be in my home without a mask, because I'm going to open that door at about 9:45, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to walk 6 feet to my truck and get in, not wearing a mask. And then drive my truck to work, not wearing a mask. Walk the 8 feet to the door, not wearing a mask. Put on a mask, walk to my desk, take it off. If I was exposed to something here, say my nephew had the flu, my wearing a mask is useless in that office to prevent me spreading the flu I might get from him. It's just that simple. If masks worked, we would see virtually no cases of coronavirus today. Yet we're not. We're seeing a spike. Now, of course, Garcetti would have you believe this is all because some criminal element decided to host a party. Whitmer would have you believe it's those morons who won't wear a mask. Cuomo would have you believe it's because Trump is making it happen. I guarantee you, watch these politicians. They're not wearing masks when they make their statement. The ones you see that are wearing masks in the background, when they come to the mic, they take the mask off. And they're going to tell you, I need to be understandable. Well, then don't wear the mask at all. I don't understand how this simple logic escapes 90% of the planet. If you have someone telling you to wear a mask who is not wearing a mask, or who, until they came to the mic, was wearing one and then took it off and is perfectly safe while they're at the mic, then that mask is useless. Prather said it perfectly tonight on his show. If you really want to get into this, people should be wearing full face breathers. That's the one where men got to shave. Cannot have any hair. Because that means the mask doesn't work. How many of these liberals have beards? Mask doesn't work. But it will seal to your face. You have to be fit tested to get these masks. It will have the little things on the side that contain filters. Okay, those are specifically designed. Thinking back, look at the movie The Stand. Look at the movie Outbreak. When these people go into the quarantined areas, they are sealed up inside a plastic suit, wearing an SCBA. Now in The Stand, of course, he walks in and instantly plugs into an air supply. One, By all this logic, that just rendered his air supply gone. Because there would have been virus particulate on that plug. And that plug is not going to suck all the air out of his suit for 2 seconds to ensure it's clean. But they are completely isolated from the environment. When you look at this, they're wearing an SCBA, they're wearing a suit that they can literally be sprayed off wearing. Have that water bleach solution sprayed all over them when they walk out and it not get on their body and burn them. The SCBA is so they can breathe. I can tell you, standard SCBA, I've seen someone stretch that to an hour. And that was someone in phenomenal physical condition who had the ability to control his breathing. He was also not physically exerting himself. So he was sitting very, very calmly watching television for an hour with a tank rated for 45 minutes. The vast majority of people, a 45-minute tank will last you 25. I got 30 out of it once. It's just the way it is. I just don't understand how people don't understand this. H1N1, swine flu, bird flu, influenza, the common cold, all of these things, we have a season for them. Or they happened under Obama, like H1N1. We didn't shut down. There was no mask mandate. There was no quarantine. This is because Donald J. Trump refused to say, well, yeah, I got the votes that you could have power 4 years ago. They decided then and there they were going to do everything they could to destroy this country, blaming their own actions on Donald Trump so that the ignorant masses would believe them and vote Democrat. Their plan went to hell. Now they've got Biden-Harris. Joe Biden, who doesn't know who he is half the time, and if he knows who he is, he doesn't know where he is, or who his wife is. And Kamala Harris, who needs to step down from her Senate seat because she will no longer be able to devote the time necessary to serve in that capacity. But this is a woman who kept people on death row, kept people in prison, kept people behind bars after knowing they were wrongfully convicted. And she's flat out said, when the Democrats regain power, they're coming for Trump supporters. She's stepping it up from 2008. It's our turn. You go back of the bus. Now it's, you're going to be punished. People think that's all right. Donald Trump is the most non-racist, non-bigoted person I can see in that entire cesspool. The man hires minorities. The man puts minorities on his cabinet. The man puts women on his cabinet, hires women. He doesn't have a racist or bigot bone in his body. But because he doesn't bow to the rabid left, he's more evil than Satan. They compare him to Hitler almost daily. Adolf Hitler made himself Supreme Chancellor. Now, he did it legally through the government at the time, but he basically engineered his rise to a position of power that only his death or willing resignation could end. There were no elections once Hitler took power. The Democrats are the ones saying that they may not allow an election because of coronavirus, and then they'll just say, we will vote on your behalf. Adolf Hitler banned guns and smoking and many other things. Donald Trump has refused on multiple occasions to implement rabid liberal gun control. But you have Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, even the moron Beto O'Rourke. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15. Hell no, you're not. I've said this for years. I will stand, fight, and die a free man before I live as a slave. It's just the way I was raised and the way I believe. The day you see my bullet-ridden corpse on the news, you'll see rabid bigot attack attacks minority police just doing their job. Then buried in the byline, they will admit that it was a no-knock warrant, violating the Constitution, and no one will care. Adolf Hitler persecuted groups based on their faith. Sound familiar? I don't know of any Democrat state that says Muslims cannot go to their mosque. But Jews and Christians, we can't even hold a funeral for our beloved family and friends when they pass away. John Lewis gets a massive Hollywood production of a funeral, and Herman Cain gets mocked in the media. Obama called Christians bitter clingers. Trump has yet to do anything to attack an actual faith. Now, he does point out when terrorists are Muslims, but that's not a lie. Democrats hate Israel as a nation, which is very confusing because they have a massive voter base among the Jewish community who are all from that region and that country at one point in time. Democrats want to destroy Israel, meaning, yet again, racist. Donald Trump finally did what the 4 presidents before him said they would do: move the embassy to Jerusalem. For 4 presidents, it was, this law has been passed. Under Clinton, it was passed. Obama. Okay, 3 presidents before. They all agreed that the law had been passed, saying move the embassy, but they just postponed it. It was lip service. Yes, the embassy belongs in Jerusalem, but we can't do it right now. We'll do it later. And 8 years later, nothing had been done. Donald Trump, nope, the law says move it, move it. And suddenly, the Democrats just want a law to vanish. I would love 2 things to happen in the next month. First, I want Donald Trump to walk out on the podium and say that he has been told remdesivir is a wonder drug, just to see how fast Fauci, Pelosi, Schumer, Waters, all of them demand remdesivir be removed from the planet when they've been pushing it. I would love to see him walk out and say, I have been reliably informed that you should ingest at least 64 ounces of dihydrogen monoxide daily. It is imperative to your health. Then let the Democrats and the media scream about how Donald Trump is telling you to drink dangerous fluids for a couple of days before finally saying, oh, by the way, you know this clip? Play the clip. Dihydrogen monoxide. H2O. Water. You've been telling people water is dangerous because I used the chemical formula to describe it. I said dihydrogen monoxide, meaning dihydrogen, H2, monoxide, O, H2O. I told you to drink 8 glasses of water a day. You've been telling people not to. You're literally using the game plan. Oppose whatever Trump says. I've heard that breathing is great. How about everybody there? How about all of you stop breathing because you hate me? Take the kid gloves off, Mr. President. Play their game. Use it to expose them. When Nancy Pelosi goes on national TV telling Americans they should avoid dihydrogen monoxide and never touch the stuff, the next day tell the world, Nancy Pelosi told you not to have anything to do with water. Do it. Prove them to be the absolute idiots they are. And admit it. When Pelosi freaks that you got her, admit, yes, I said dihydrogen monoxide instead of H2O or water because I knew you could not resist opposing anything I said. Make her admit it. Or make her say, you did it on purpose, and say, yes, I did. I was playing you to expose you. I would love to see that. But I doubt we ever will. I'm tired right now, folks. I've been talking long enough. You could hear it in my voice. I'm going to get a little shut-eye. It is 10:30, and I have an early day, so I'm going to get some rest and go back to work tomorrow. I am saving up my vacation time so that I can finish this mess, actually turn it into a house, finally, and, then I'll be able to be more comfortable and get back to the videos. I'll be back to those before all this is over anyway, but let me know what you think. As always, be civil. Any of the imbeciles who I've talked about by name show up, well, don't be vulgar. I won't, but don't pull your punches. Let them have it both barrels. Just civilly. We can do that because we are logical thinking adults. We're not Democrats. Make sure that you hit the like button to let YouTube know what you like. Make sure that you subscribe so that you are part of the channel. Notifications on. So like this video, you know all new videos as they post. Make sure to share the video to widen the conversation. Until next time, have a wonderful day.